Hi everyone, it's Josh here from JDG. As the colder weather starts to head our way, boilers will be popped on, windows closed and washing dried inside, a recipe for the dreaded black mould. I just wanted to share 7 hints and tips to help minimise black mould forming in your property. So tip number 1, vents and fans. Make sure that all of your bathroom and kitchen fans are working correctly. They're free of dust and used when appropriate, particularly when cooking or showering. This will remove a good proportion of the humid air. If your property has a positive air system or an EnviroVent fan system, these should be left on all the time. They're designed to be constantly run and cost very little to run. Tip number 2, windows. Most modern windows allow for a security lock function, allowing for them to be left securely open a crack, which allows the humid air out of the property without making it too cold and encouraging ventilation around your home. Tip number 3, cooking. When cooking food, particularly the types of food that produce a lot of steam, such as pasta, things like that, try to use lids to minimise the amount of steam coming out, but also use tips 1 and 2 to help remove the steam too by opening windows and using fans. Tip number 4, drying clothes. It's always best to dry clothes outside. It doesn't necessarily have to be a super sunny day as long as it's not raining. If the weather isn't great, then a tumble dryer or washer dryer is a good second option, as these vent out the steam or condense it into a container. But if you really have to dry it inside the home, you've got to make sure it's in a well ventilated room with the door to the room and the windows open to allow a draft of ventilation to get rid of that damp air. Otherwise it will lead to that build-up of sort of condensation, mildew in the corners, and it could even make your clothes smell as well, which is not something anybody wants. Tip number 5, moisture. If you do spot any condensation on windows or doors, it's really important to try and wipe it away with a dry cloth and wring that out into the sink. If you leave it, it does encourage mildew to grow around the windows or the doors, and then the moisture that is there can just evaporate again back into the air and settle somewhere else on a cold surface, leading to further problems around the home. Tip number 6, doors. Try and keep your internal doors around your home open to help encourage the free flow of air. If you have a spare room or something that has the door shut, window closed and little heating in there, it's more likely to get mildew or mould as there's no air circulation and the air goes stale in that room. Tip number 7, dehumidifiers. Now these can be so helpful in removing any excess moisture in the air. They come in various price points, from the simple little crystal boxes you pop on the windowsill from Home Bargains, or the plug-in ones that can run all day and constantly remove moisture from the air. Speaking from experience, I've used both types and they've been excellent at removing moisture and keeping the black mould away. I'll share some of the links on the blog to the types I've used so you can see what would be best for your home. If you do start to notice mildew forming anywhere in your home, it's essential that you tackle it straight away to minimise any spread of the spores into other areas. There are lots of products on the market, but the best I have found is a fungicidal wash. You simply pop it on the affected area and it stops the mould coming back, but be sure to follow all of the manufacturer's safety instructions before using it. Leaving it just a few extra days can make it more difficult to remove it and to stop it from coming back. So if you do notice any damp that isn't black mould, for example it's got tide marks or salty deposits on it, make sure you let your property manager or landlord know straight away, as there may be an underlying problem that needs looking at, but that will also bring more moisture into the air, which will then lead to the black mould from there. As always, if you need any help or advice, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can give me a call on 01524 843322, or you can drop me an email. It's josh@jdg.co.uk. Thank you. Bye bye.